it's Miss Cycle. It is week 4 of virtual art, and I'm going to talk a little bit about your project today. Now, this project, it can actually be a 2-week project because it should take you longer than the normal 30 minutes that we spend on virtual art. So in the video, I'm going to show you where a good place to stop would be and put your artwork in a safe place and finish it next week. If you want to spend an hour doing art this week, and if you have time in your schedule, you could get it done today. But remember, it is a 2-week project, so do not feel like you have to rush through and get it done today. So the first thing we're going to do is go over the supplies that you need today. First, you are going to need a pencil. We are going to start our drawing in pencil, okay? Then you are going to need a black drawing tool. Now at school we usually use a Sharpie, so if you have a Sharpie, that would be perfect to use. If you don't have a Sharpie, other black drawing tools would be a black crayon, a regular black marker, or a black colored pencil. And the reason that we usually like to trace over our pencil in a black drawing tool is it just kind of makes it stick out and pop out a little bit more. So a pencil, a black drawing tool, and then something to color with. In my example that you saw at the beginning of the video, I did my ukulele in marker, and then I did the black lines with my Sharpie in the line patterns, but I did the coloring with crayon. So I did 2 different art tools, and that is a great idea if you have 2 art tools you want to play with. My only reminder is that if you draw marker on top of crayon, it can ruin your markers, okay? Or if you use paint after you use marker, it might make it smudge or smear. So just think about how the 2 different tools you're using might affect each other. I used marker first, and then I used crayon second. So those are the supplies that you need. You need your pencil, black drawing tool, and something to color with. Now we're gonna go over a couple craftsmanship tips. My craftsmanship tips are things that make sure that you're doing the best job that you can and you're not just rushing through, kind of making a big mess of your materials. Now the first one I want you to remember is draw light until it's right. That is why we're gonna start in pencil. Now I always say it doesn't have to be perfect, and mistakes are fine, and wiggly wobbly ukuleles or a super long trumpet or a lumpy tuba, those are fine if those are how your musical instruments turn out, but we're gonna draw in pencil at least, so if we wanna make little changes when we start with our black drawing tool, we'll be able to erase that pencil, okay? My other piece of craftsmanship advice for this week is to color with control. So you'll see in the video, even though it's going to be sped up, that when I'm doing my markers, I'm going nice and smooth and filling in one section at a time. And when I color with my crayons, I'm going nice and smooth and evenly. So I want you, whatever tool you're using, coloring with control. So those are my craftsmanship tips today. Now a little bit about the project. You are going to pick a musical instrument to draw. Now you already saw in my example, I chose a ukulele. Here's a sheet of paper with a bunch of different kinds of musical instruments that you could choose for our visual music project. Because we're going to be drawing an instrument, and that instrument is the star of the show. But then we're going to use what we know about lines to kind of represent what music that you hear might actually look like in a piece of visual art. So whatever kind of instrument you might like to draw, you can pick from here. You could pause the video and go ahead and draw here, or if you want to do the ukulele with me, you can do the ukulele with me. It is up to you. So you can choose any kind of instrument you want, or you can follow right along with me. Once our instrument is done, we're going to be filling in the background around our instrument with some wide spread out lines, and these are going to be those pieces of visual music, and you might do this in a couple different ways. There's no one way that you have to do your lines. I have several different examples here, and I will show you those in the video. And then finally, when you're adding your line patterns inside here, my challenge to you is to either listen to the music in the video or turn off the video and listen to some music that you might have at your house and see if you could think about what that music would look like on paper. Okay, think about the rhythm, think about the tempo, all of those things you learned from your music teacher. What might they look like on paper? How might that music make your marker dance across the paper? And I bet you will get some lines. So let's get out our materials and let's go ahead and get started. I have my pencil and my black drawing tools. I'm going to use the Sharpies, so I'm going to put those away. And I have my little example of a ukulele up here, and I'm going to start with that middle circle, kind of estimating where it's going to go on my paper. Now remember, I'm drawing lightly until I get it the way that I want it. So even though this might look a little funky, it might look like a big weird peanut shape or toenail, I'm going to just kind of go. I'm going to readjust my circle, make it a little smaller, because I think my ukulele is going to end up being pretty big. And notice how I'm not spending too much time erasing. I'm just redrawing lines to get the shape that I want. I'm going to draw the neck of my ukulele, my little pegboard up there, and each little peg to tighten the strings. Now remember, if you're doing your own instrument, it is up to you. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be a ukulele. Whatever instrument you want to make the star of your piece of art is absolutely fine. So I'm kind of adjusting some curves here, and now I'm going to speed up the video with my black drawing tool to trace over and darken the lines that I really like. So if you notice at the very beginning, I start kind of doubling up these lines and filling in between them. That's because this whole piece is going to be about lines. So there's going to be a lot of lines later. So making this musical instrument with very thick lines is going to kind of make it stand out, even when the rest of my paper is filled up with interesting lines. I'm going to go back and erase any of those extra pencil lines I don't need anymore. Now we're going to use our black drawing tool to divide up the background with thick lines. We don't want these too close together because we're actually going to add some line patterns in between. So the first examples I did were around. These are straight lines shooting out, or you could do kind of a mixture of both with some lines that go around and lines that shoot out. If you would like to stop for the week, here's a good place to stop. Put your artwork in a safe place for next week. If you would like to complete it today, you can keep going. Just remember to do your best work. Before we add color, we are going to fill in with some more lines. Listen to some music and try to imagine what kinds of lines that music might make. Now that you've filled in the large spaces with lines, it's time to start adding color. I'm choosing to do my musical instrument in marker and then filling in the background with crayon. The kinds of colors that you choose are completely up to you. Now, if you made a bunch of tiny, detailed line designs, it might take a really long time to fill in each space and shape. So you might do what I'm doing here, which is fill in a few lines with the same color and just let that line pattern show through in your black drawing tool. You did it! When you finish, be sure to clean up your supplies and workspace. Post your artwork onto your week 4 assignment, even if you don't finish until week 5. Then dance around like the rock star that you are. Great job, artists! Great job! I'm so proud of you. That was really fun, kind of putting music and art together to make our project on lines and visual music. So I cannot wait to see your artwork. No matter when you finish it, if you finish it the first week this video posts or the second, you need to come back to this assignment and attach it as a Google drawing, insert your photo, and then turn it into me so that I can see the hard work that you did. Anyway, I'm so proud of you, I miss you, and I'll see you soon.